Hello everybody, my name is Dusty, and welcome to my channel. Today, I literally just rolled out of bed. This is how I look when I roll out of bed. I rolled out of bed because I was watching the Aquarium Co-op live stream, and something happened during the live stream that kind of threw me back. During the live stream, Cory had gone on kind of a little rant or tangent about censorship on YouTube, particularly on his channel when it comes to some of the guests he's been having, and it made me feel uncomfortable. Some of the stuff he said during the live stream threw me off, and I'm not here to bash him or say he's wrong. I'm just here to kind of talk about what concerned me about what he said and why it won't be happening on this channel. So something that happened during the live stream he went on a tangent about how people reacted to his video about Dean. Dean is a hobbyist who has spent a lot of time in the hobby breeding a lot of different kinds of fish, and recently he traveled, went to a different country, brought back a whole bunch of fish, and Cory made a video about opening up those fish. In the video, some of the fish die, some of the fish were fine, but it really opened up a question about whether or not having wild caught fish is okay and whether or not you should go to a different country and bring back those fish. And I think it's a valid argument or a valid debate to have. And you have to realize you're posting on the internet, a place with a lot of differing viewpoints, a lot of really strong viewpoints. A lot of people are very, very much against one thing or very in support of the other. And I think that it's important to have conversations in order to open up a dialogue and actually have a safe place to have conversation. If you're not going to welcome that dialogue, then it's very closed off, and a lot of people are going to become upset. Instead of actually having a conversation and figuring out what you believe, people aren't going to figure it out on their own. So I think that by Cory censoring a lot of people, the way he's planning on doing it, it's going to close off a lot of people and potentially back people out of the community rather than inviting them in.
There is not going to be a warning. You're just banned. And so much so that I have put words into the swear word filter, essentially. I am going to curate the heck out of the comment section from now on. I am going to censor you guys so hard, you'll be lucky to say hello.
In my experience in being in the community, a lot of people make mistakes. Even I make mistakes all the time. But having somebody there to give me advice and tell me what they would do and even what I should be doing helps. Cory said a key word or phrase he's going to block out is "you should." And that kind of threw me off because a lot of people on my channel use the term "you should blank." It happens. And I really appreciate when people do that because they're telling me what I should be doing that I'm not doing right at the moment.
So things that are now on our blocked list, and you're going to go, well, that seems dumb. And I'll do a whole episode on why it's not. But the words "you should," "he should," right? Those, if you put a sentence that says, "he should do this way," that will never see the light of day.
Even I say you should. You should keep these things on hand. You should treat your fish this way. You should not flush your fish. You should do this. You should do that. I say it all the time. So I obviously am very much against him blocking those words on his channel, primarily because I think it opens up a dialogue. He said he was particularly interested in blocking out certain comments. It threw me off, completely put me through a loop. Because, I don't know, I could never see myself blocking out any comments. Even the ones that are terribly mean, I keep on there. I pin them to the top and I put a nice little comment down below. I don't think running away from hurtful comments is the way of doing it. I think approaching them is the best option because if you don't approach them, people aren't going to learn from their mistakes. They're going to keep doing it over and over and over again. I don't believe in censorship necessarily because a lot of the things that people ask or tell us aren't meant to come off one way, but maybe we take it another. We have to remember people are typing things. It's like a text message. You can't tell emotion through a text message the same way as I can't tell what my grandma really thinks through an email. And I really don't think censoring certain keywords or phrases is going to help. If somebody has a really long comment and somewhere in there it says "you should," their comment's automatically going to get spammed. I don't think that's a good idea.
And the guy was only trying to help, and he let me in there to make his job harder, and you saw 45 minutes of a 5-hour filming where we cut parts out, we did all these types of things, and you don't have the full picture, that's an entirely different story. So when Dwayne Kitchell asked, is there a way to critique someone without being negative, I don't believe it is, unless they're asking to be critiqued.
And again, I want to make this perfectly clear. I'm not here bashing him or anything. I want to tell you guys that that's never going to happen here, because I want there to be some form of communication, some form of openness in how we interact, because I'm putting my life and my experience and my knowledge out there, and I expect you guys to put yours in here, because that's how this works. I put something out there, and you tell me, hey, this is a bad idea, hey, I hated this video. People can put thumbs up and thumbs down, and I've learned from those thumbs down videos what to do. Some of my videos have 50-50 because some people liked it, some people hated it, but I'm not going to tell you guys never put a thumbs down. It just doesn't work that way. And the internet, again, is full of so many opinions that I think blocking out a specific few is not how you go about changing minds and changing hearts. It's talking about topics that maybe people don't want to talk about. And in regards to the Dean video, the comments that I saw were not overly harsh. And maybe that was because by the time I got there, a lot of them were deleted or silenced or whatnot. But if you're going to do something controversial, like go out and catch a bunch of wild fish and bring them back, and show a lot of dead fish on camera, you have to be prepared for that kind of backlash. It happens. When I don't know, if I had been recording in the beginning of my hobby, you would have seen a lot of dead fish, and a lot of people would have been mad. It happens. So when it does happen, talk about it. I think the issue with the Dean video is Cory uploaded the video with the only context being that he went somewhere and brought back these fish. He didn't talk about why bringing back wild fish is important. He didn't talk about how they get introduced into the hobby that way. He just kind of jumped right into the video and expected every person to agree with bringing back wild fish. And personally, I didn't. But I didn't comment that way. I thought it was a good video. I thought it was well put together. It was sad that he lost a lot of fish. But being somebody who doesn't agree with bringing back wild fish, it was just kind of off-putting to me to see that so many people who wanted to contribute positively to a conversation were being silenced right off the bat without any consideration. And even now, after the live stream, it kind of just put that into my mind that, yeah, people are going to be silenced. And it just doesn't make sense to me.
And I will do everything in my power. I will either A, go out of business defending the people that, like Dean, who want to help the hobby. I will go out of business defending them. And if I have 0 subscribers left, that's fine. Or we will make this a better place and a better hobby. That's what my goal. So if you go, hey, I'm getting silenced, I'm getting censored, this is BS, know that you're probably falling into that other line of, like, you're not helping.
If you're going to have a safe community, a safe, open community, you have to have censorship-free communication. And Cory said that it's like a business, he can kick you out if you're talking bad and things like that, and that's completely true and valid. But if somebody comes in saying, I wouldn't put that betta with this kind of fish, are you going to escort them out of your store? Are you going to just kick them out? I don't know. I think there's a lot of issues with this, not because of what he said, but because of how he's going to be going about censoring. I agree 100% this community should be safe. I agree the best way of doing that is make sure people aren't bashing other people. But if I see something terribly wrong, like his example was like 10 fish in a fishbowl, I'm going to say, hey, you probably shouldn't do that. But if I did that on his channel, I'd be instantly spammed. So, I don't know. There's positives and negatives to this, and I think the negatives far outweigh the positives. And I think people giving their advice to something that's happening is important, because if no one says anything at all, that person might not learn from their mistakes. So when their fish die, for his example, he said when their fish start looking sick, they'll ask for help. I didn't. When my fish started dying, I just kind of continued on doing what I was doing, and it was only when people said, hey, by the way, this is a bad thing, did I start changing. And I would like to remind Cory that he is kind of like the staple for the community, so everybody looks up to him, everybody knows who he is, everybody follows him and subscribes to him. He's kind of like the PewDiePie of YouTube. for our community at least. And so when he says something like this, it affects everybody because people are going to follow him and people are going to do what he's doing because they think it's right. And I don't know, I don't think it's a good precedent to be setting. That is kind of my rant, and I don't want people to take this as I'm bashing anybody because I'm really not. I'm just talking about a topic that kind of settled in my mind this morning and made me think a lot about what I want this channel to be. And I want this channel to be open communication. I honestly haven't censored any words. If you put something on the comments section, it will probably most likely appear there. I don't believe in censorship, and I don't believe that censoring certain words or phrases is going to actually make some place safer. I think the only way to make a place safer is by having those thoughtful conversations. And whether or not somebody wants to have a conversation or not, if they're swearing and cussing you out, I think it just proves your point. So I'm not going to be censoring anybody. If people think somebody should be censored, I'm sorry, it's just not what I'm going to do because I want this channel to be a free flow of information. So with that being said, I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.